Hey,
Hey mate, how you doing?
good man. How are you?
Good, good. Sorry for the
No,
confusion on
no,
the time
no. That's
difference.
my bad. I like early this morning. I was like, "Yo, wait, he's not in Perth," and I was like, "No, no, that's like 3 hours." I'm like, "No, he's in Adelaide," and I was like, "Is it the same?" And I'm like, "I think it's the same." And then, as soon as like, yeah, you messaged, and I saw you typing, I was like, oh, "Fuck, I did it. I was wrong. I should have said something."
We'll take joint responsibility. How's that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very
Lucky it's
funny.
not
Very
Perth.
funny.
Hey, that would have been that would have been a big difference.
How's your morning been?
Yeah, it's been all right. Was supposed to train early, but didn't have the best sleep. Obviously being in prep, so
Yeah.
pushed out training to after my second meal. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy, man. I just honestly been sitting on the couch playing some PS5 because yeah, I've just been trying to find very low energy cost activities that can sort of spike a bit of dopamine. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Keep you busy, keep you entertained.
exactly.
What are you playing at the moment?
I was playing Elden Ring, but it was just too much for my
Yeah.
brain in prep.
Yeah,
So
that's gonna stress you out, and
yeah,
then you're gonna end up breaking something.
yeah, exactly. So I've literally just swapped back to GTA 5, which I haven't probably played in like 4 years, I reckon. So
Yeah, yeah. That's a classic. That's at least easy. It can keep you
yeah,
entertained, and then it's priming you up for like number six, which should hopefully
yeah.
come out almost by the end of like I guess prep. Like it's like a
I've given up. I've given up even thinking about it. It's been delayed and delayed and
I know
delayed.
crazy.
But I also on my PS5 I've got Vice City and San Andreas. So
Oh yeah,
every probably once a year I'll go back and do those again. And
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
the
how I
old
feel about
nostalgia.
Halo 3. I
Yeah,
love I love Halo
yeah,
3. It's like
yeah, yeah,
a classic, and then another game, Prototype 2.
yep,
I love the Prototype series, and then Darksiders. They're like the three games that like I'll like replay every so couple of years because they
yeah,
just like hold a good place in my heart when I was younger, and they're just
yeah.
fun. They're just games that don't
They
feel
got
shit to play.
yeah, they got that this nostalgia.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some games that literally just it's almost like I've time warped back to childhood.
yeah,
And it's
literally.
just it's so good. I can just get so lost. I used to play games a lot, but probably the last 3 years, 4 years, I've barely played any just because I've been too busy. So prep has given me a good excuse to go, you know what? I'm going to sit down
Yeah,
instead of
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
work all the time. I'm going to just sit down and try and play games. And yeah, so it's been good.
That's such a true thing. Like I remember, like it only hit me I think a couple of years back, and I was like, yo, I realized like I hadn't played a game in like so long. I was like, shit,
Mm,
like so you grow up, life, you get other responsibilities, you get busy,
yeah,
and then you don't even realize some of the things that you used to do that you really enjoy that you're just like not
yeah,
doing anymore. So it's cool,
yeah,
I guess, that you've been able to kind of bring that back with this prep and kind of find a way to find something that you can put more attention to that takes up time, and
yeah,
then like revisit those past things that you enjoyed.
yeah. Especially being photographers.
Mm,
One I was doing some mentoring with someone like one of my the photographers that I look up to, and she just said like you're working too much, you're not doing anything
yeah,
that allows you to spark that creativity inside you. And because I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, and she's
yeah,
like, go watch all the extended versions of Lord of the Rings, go sit down and play video games. And I was like, shit, I haven't played video games for years.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
started doing that, and whilst I had to start booking less shoots in and taking on less coaching clients, things like that, it felt good. It felt like I had a little bit more balance back in my life, trying to instead of trying to just always work, work, work. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm doing a filling my cup a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And then you
it's a
work
good
out that that
excuse.
just then pours into like you said, the
Yeah,
creativity. Pours it
yeah,
once you fill your own cup, then you realize how much you can like pours into other aspects of your life. And
yeah,
sometimes it takes that reminder of someone kind of going, "Hey, I don't think you're pouring into your cup enough. Maybe you
yeah,
need to like reevaluate." I get
yeah.
I get trapped in that too, so I completely
It's
understand.
hard. It's hard, isn't it?
Well, firstly, I just want to say thank you for like jumping on. And I'm excited to have a chat and excited to like, talk about your prep and get people listening to kind of I get some excitement around you coming to stage and get people to know you a bit more. So I appreciate your time.
I appreciate the invite.
So I like to kind of like throw back to I guess like how you kind of got into bodybuilding and stuff like that. But what I want to say is I was actually having a look at some of your like posts of your transformation posts and stuff like that, and like your things. And I was like, want to firstly say like so impressed, like crazy, crazy, crazy. Like I didn't like I'd seen like a couple of your like updates and like I didn't like you're big and like but I didn't realize like kind of like it's cool to sometimes see like sometimes when you see people that are in the space for a long time, you kind of forget where you kind of were because you're kind of
Mm.
comparing to like whether like your last season or like what you looked at year
Yeah,
before and you kind of get used to it. And so it's cool to kind of see how far you've actually come. And also like in my opinion, like such a short time,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is crazy. So I guess kind of coming from there, what where so like was I right? You started like I guess bodybuilding like 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, it would have been 2023, around about June, July,
Yeah.
was when I first signed up with my current coach, Liam Denton.
Hmm.
And I would say that's probably the starting point of when I started bodybuilding. The initial stage was obviously a pretty hefty fat loss phase because a lot of people that follow me on Instagram would have seen the before and afters, but they haven't seen the true before, because the true
Mm.
before is actually an extra 15 kilos of fat on top of the before that I've shown
Oh,
people.
okay. Wow.
I don't really have many photos of that before,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but there's also, I mean, there was a long time where I didn't want to share the before at all.
Mm.
So I started, and but there's still a part of me that's like, doesn't really want to admit how bad it got.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the journey's been going, what's that, about 3 years now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
consistently. Yeah.
So I guess how did that well okay, let's start there. How did you I guess connect with Liam? Was that like, obviously, everyone I'm sure like he just won the Thailand like
Yep.
getting ready to go for the pro show. Not the pro like to get his pro card. But he just
Yep.
came first, he's been working with Taylor for a long time. I'm sure lots of people know who Liam is. So how did you kind of connect with him in that regard?
That's a good question. So probably getting a little deep here, but the initial I was already trying to lose the body weight, the body
Hmm.
fat. I was
Hmm.
trying to get fit, to get healthier, mainly for my family. I was engaged at the time. I've got a daughter,
Yeah.
um, and I went through a separation. It wasn't my choice,
Hmm.
and it hurt a lot. And they say, breakups create bodybuilders, and that's how it started for me.
Yeah.
And so about 3, 4 months into being single, and separating, and then going from having my family and my daughter around all the time to only having my daughter half the time, and the silence was deafening when she
Mm.
wasn't around. So I'm looking for something to put my energy into that I can sort of navigate that silence. And anyway, so I think it was about 3 months I had been single, trying to do the inner work, trying to also lose the body weight. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I used to really, really love going to the gym when I was younger. And when I was a kid and in my teenage years, I was always doing every sport imaginable,
Yeah.
like footy, soccer, even things like I would do mixed netball, I would do like volleyball, like everything. And I was
Yeah.
known as like the fit kid.
Yeah.
Um, and I was obsessed with physiques back then, but I didn't really know much about bodybuilding. So anyway, I thought, I've loved bodybuilding for a long time. Why don't I just go all in on this? And I'm a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
much a person, when I choose to do something, I go all in.
Yeah. All in. Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't I get a coach? And I was sort of shopping around, not shopping around, but looking around, and I'd been following Liam for a while, and just for it's a hard one to pick, but I think for me it was sort of an alignment of values and an alignment of how he conducted himself as an athlete, that I
Mm.
was like, I really respect that. Liam is very much, obviously, I don't want to speak for Liam, but from my perspective of
Yeah.
Liam, he is very much an individual who will try and optimize as absolutely everything he can. He's insanely professional. Work ethic is incredible. And I think I just really resonated with, um, his personality, his work ethic, the way he conducted himself as an athlete. And I think like that's just the main thing. It wasn't his physique. It wasn't that he just won I think he won the state show in Adelaide at that
Yeah,
point. It was more so the way he conducted himself
yeah, yeah.
as an athlete that I really resonated with. And that was what led me to go, you know what, reach out. And yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, and it's been a good choice. It's like paid
Mm.
off really well. And I think
Oh,
like
sorry.
something that you've said too is kind of like, and I think that's important. Like, at the end of the day, choosing your coach is a really, really big thing. It can make and break.
Yeah.
You can sometimes I think when you kind of pick a coach from like whether accolades they have or the physique that they have, that doesn't mean that they're going to gel well with you. And for the
Hmm.
fact of like what you said, you're someone who, if you go to do something, you're all in. And then, you found that in him with the way he kind of conducted himself. So you kind of knew he had that mindset too. So then
Yeah.
I think that obviously helped gel well together.
Yeah. Spot on. Absolutely.
So then I guess kind of what was, I guess, yes. So this is, like, I am correct, your first prep pay.
It is my first prep.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So was it always intentional to be like a 3 year gap before your first prep? Was there any plans? Because I think I saw you had done like a 20-week like cut phase
Mhm.
type. Was that meant to be a prep or was that kind of like a mock up?
Yeah, that was just a mock-up. I don't think it was until about maybe 12 months ago, 18 months ago, where I think I had sort of thought about it to myself and then had a conversation with Liam and I thought, could we do this? Could we compete? Could I get on stage?
Yeah,
I think it just took, as we all know about, especially anyone in the bodybuilding industry or anyone that's been involved in transformations, we know that a lot of it is attached to identity.
yeah,
And I think it was just a matter of me fully detaching from that identity of being that overweight guy to this identity of this guy who enjoys bodybuilding, enjoys physique progression, loves sticking to a meal plan, obsessed with food. At the time, I started studying my Cert 4 in nutrition, and I'm like, I've come this far. It would almost be a disservice to myself to not give a competitive, run a go.
yeah, yeah,
So that 20 something week cut that I did, I said to Liam, why don't like we decided that we were going to do a cut, and at the end of it, I was going to do a photo shoot. And Liam, I think it was Liam's suggestion actually. He said, well, why don't we do it like a mock prep,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we'll just
yeah.
see if you can get really lean, see how you handle it. And it went really well. I obviously didn't get quite stage lean, but I did
Mhm.
get pretty lean. Did a photo shoot at the end of it. I even got a tan for it. Like
Hell
in
yeah,
my mind, I sort of framed it exactly like
yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to
yeah,
compete. Um, so yeah, that's how that came about, and then that went well. And I think
yeah,
from
yeah.
there we decided, you know what, let's go season C 2026, do another build phase, and then yeah, go from there.
Yeah, I like that. Someone else said that to me actually. A good friend, he was saying to me, like, people who like maybe think about stepping on stage, but they haven't yet, they should do a like a 12, 16 week diet, do a photo
Mm-hmm.
shoot so you have a goal,
Mm-hmm.
but then actually see if you can commit, if you like it, because then you don't have all the extra you know, comp fees and stuff like that attached
Yeah,
to it.
yeah,
And then you can kind of, yeah, go, oh, I loved it. Yeah, now I definitely want to step on stage. Or, oh, fuck, this is actually harder than when I thought. I can't do this. And
yes,
so that's kind of cool that I guess in some way. And then you even got the tan, which I love. I love.
yeah,
You
yeah.
kind of like, yeah, really embodied it. So it must kind of, I guess, how much has that made this process easy for you so far?
Look, I I'm an individual who thrives in the extremes.
Hmm.
That can be great in some aspects, but it can be detrimental to my existence in some other aspects. So, look, this is my first prep, and I don't want to go speaking on behalf of bodybuilding as a whole on what prep should be like because I'm experiencing this all for the first time. Obviously, 11 weeks out, still got plenty of time to go, plenty of time for it to get harder.
Hmm.
Um, but so far, prep has its challenges, but I wouldn't say prep is hard,
Yeah.
especially considering I go back 3 years ago, separation with my family, having to adjust to not having my daughter full time. That's hard.
Yeah.
That is really hard.
Yeah.
So the fact that I have gone through hard things and through that period of time, and we're going to circle back to the answer of your question in a minute. But through that period of time, I was so invested in not only my physical growth, and what you see for that transformation is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. The
Mm.
physical was like the tip of the iceberg with my growth. A lot of it was internal. I had to look really deep into myself on, I had an anxious attachment that I did a lot of healing to, become more secure. Working too much, working too hard. Why is that? Looking
Yeah.
back to childhood, healing. So yes, the sort of the mock prep that we did gave me a glimpse into it, but I think the thing that's made prep easier is like all the challenges that I've gone through in life and choosing to do hard things like the healing and stuff that's
Yeah,
made
yeah,
prep a lot easier. But like I said, this is my experience. I still got 11 weeks to go. In 6 weeks' time, I might be like, oh, this is crazy. But so far, it's been pretty cruisy. I
yeah,
honestly, I'm almost surprised. But if I compare it to the mock prep we did, it's definitely more challenging. For example, the last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I've been in what I can only assume is a bit of a dopamine crash.
hmm
I didn't experience that in the mock prep or the cut that we did. This is my first time experiencing like a dopamine crash, and like for me, I love my food. I am an individual that really has a high reward system when it comes to food, hence why I was so overweight for a long time. Um, but food just doesn't taste, it tastes so bland to me at the moment. And I'm a big fan of music. Music doesn't sound the same. Like we were discussing video games, like even playing video games is not hitting like it used to.
yeah,
So I'm experiencing new things. That's like it's challenging, but I wouldn't say it's hard. It's just me trying to adapt to this. But the hardest thing for me so far is having to run without dopamine and energy, but then also show up as a single dad.
mm,
That's hard, showing
yeah,
up as a single dad the way
yeah,
my 5-year-old daughter deserves,
yeah, yeah,
um, whilst managing prep. That's the hardest aspect. But yes, definitely doing that mock sort of prep gave me a glimpse into it, but it still didn't fully prepare me for the things like the dopamine crash
yeah,
and the true extent of the energy bin in the bin. Some days I feel great, it feels
yeah,
like I'm not even in prep, and then other days it feels like I'm in a hole. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I want to kind of extend on that a little bit, but before something that like I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with was at the end of the day, it's really funny. Like you become so like used to bodybuilding and used to, I guess, kind of living in the extreme of what the sport is that sometimes when you don't have other responsibilities or you necessarily don't haven't gone through, I guess, really life altering hardships, I think
Mm,
sometimes you can feel that prep is so much bigger than what it is. But then
yeah,
like what you're saying, when you've gone through such hardships that are life changing, they like prep is just physical and
yeah,
mental from a tired perspective of
yeah,
and obviously physical of you getting the fatigue, but it's not like having your whole life change and having to navigate and refinding yourself. So it's I think it's also good and important that you know you've done that internal work, and now
mhm,
that's helping you kind of you're in a better place. And I know some people who have done preps to kind of fix those moments and that their internal hasn't had it, and then the preps obviously kind of then made everything even worse and they lose
yeah,
themselves some more. So
yeah,
it's kind of good that I guess you've taken that, you've grown, and then you're kind of actually in the best spot possible for a prep.
yeah, exactly.
So what I'm interested about is so comparing like what you're saying, I guess having this dopamine crash that you're experiencing at the moment, I guess a little bit more fatigue. Is that because food is lower? Like why do you think that difference is? Because how long what did I say? I think it was like you said like 21 weeks was the mock prep. So
I think it was
why do you,
26.
so why do you think the difference is? Like, is it because you're pushing a bit hard, food's a bit lower at this point because you are trying to reach such a lower body fat percentage? What do you think is that difference of why you're kind of experiencing it now compared to not before?
I think it's all just body fat percentage.
Yeah.
I got a DEXA scan, which DEXA scan, it's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, it's the look that
hmm
we're going for. But the DEXA scan put me at 5.1% body fat, um, which is definitely the leanest I ever been. But comparatively, food for me at the moment is about 32.50 on training days, and
Pretty good.
2,900 on rest days.
It's not
The
bad.
mock prep that we did, I was down to about 1,800 calories for like the last 4 weeks, um, and still didn't get that dopamine crash. So I can, who knows, but I would assume that it's more likely just the body fat percentage
Yeah,
being
yeah,
where
100%.
it's at is creating, disruption to hormones,
Yeah,
disruption to
yeah.
chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, all that sort of stuff. So that would be my estimation. Yeah,
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 yeah. I think that, and that's like the biggest thing that people that don't understand bodybuilding, like they don't get it. They go, "Oh, you
yeah,
just look good all the time," and it's like, but then you talk to bodybuilders, like, I may look great, but I feel like shit because of like
yeah,
having your body fat at that such a low percent. Yeah, it would affect all your hormones and stuff like
yeah.
that, which then would then be affecting like just how you feel on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because like for me, certainly, like to be honest, like I am rarely hungry.
Mm,
I it's only if I have a situation where I get caught out with my daughter, or whether like because my day job is a industrial electrician, and sometimes I'm always as prepared as I can be, but sometimes my meal timing might get thrown out by half an hour. That's the only time I start to get a bit hungry.
yeah,
Now, food noise is a different story. Food noise is
mental.
24/7. So as
Yeah,
soon as I wake up until the time I go to bed, I don't stop thinking, is it time for my meal yet? Is it time for my meal yet? Oh my God, how can I maximize volume in this meal? How can I maximize volume in that meal? Um, Satiety, I'm never satiated and the food noise is always there, but I'm never feeling hungry, if that
yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense. So yeah, it for me, I think it's just low body fat percentage is obviously causing the food noise, causing the lack of satiety, and then obviously chemicals in the brain and hormones not doing what they normally would. So
food noise is crazy. It is like
yeah.
I'm like like maybe I'm a bit uneducated in the field, but like I'm surprised like that's not like I said, I may be uneducated, but I feel like it's not like studied enough. Like it how
Mm,
crazy like from a psychological point of view of like that's the thing. It's like the moment you decide you want to do something like yeah it's just like because you're restricting your food or restricting your calories you kind of can't eat what you want when you want. It's like especially if like you said I think maybe that's a big part of it if you have food related to I guess dopamine and things like that it
mhm.
becomes such a noise because you're
Yeah,
knowing you're not allowed to or you don't want to
yeah.
and then it's just like but no what about this or this or this it's just this thing that just appears it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I can only guess it's from leptin, obviously, with body fat percentage being super low, like interacts with the brain in a different way. But like I find that's like I listen to so many podcasts like Huberman Lab and
Mm,
all these different podcasts and all this stuff. I just find it so fascinating.
yeah,
Um, so for me, like, yes, it's challenging, but I actually am really enjoying seeing all the different challenges that comes and
yeah,
trying to then, oh, I'm feeling like this. I've been feeling like this for a couple of weeks. Let's do a bit of research into why this might
yeah,
be.
yeah,
Oh, dopamine crash makes sense. So I just, yeah, even the challenges, I find so much joy in trying to understand from a scientific standpoint why they're happening. Um, so yeah, yeah, it is. It's very interesting.
yeah, yeah. So what I've been wanting to know is what category are you doing?
I will be doing classic
You are?
physique.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so 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 what's your weight cap? So like how yeah, because how tall are you? I couldn't tell you. Sometimes you can tell
yeah.
in pictures and sometimes you can't.
So this is a contentious issue. I've been measured a few times now, and I am evenly split between two weight caps from the times I've been measured. So I'm about 180.2. Other times I'm 180.4, which I think the height for the cap is 180.3 centimeters.
Hmm.
So I really need to try and work out. Like I've had doctors measure me multiple times, and it keeps being different. But
That's crazy.
my weight cap's either going to be around about 94.8 or I believe 98.4. Now, at the moment, I'm sitting at about 98, and obviously at 5%. Um, there's a little bit of concern because in the 14 weeks of prep so far, I've only dropped 2 kilos because I've been recomping.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's kind of like if my weight cap's going to be that lower, we kind of got to hope that I don't keep recomping into the show and growing into the show, because then my weight cap is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Now, what that means for me is, if I, I will probably likely compete again, I certainly at this stage, my intention will be to compete again. It means that I might have to move out of classic into bodybuilding,
Yeah.
because I unless I can consistently be in the weight cap of 98.4 or whatever it is, I'll just have no room to add any muscle in a build phase. And I'm not the type of person that just wants to, maintain. I want to keep the physique progression going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Cause
it
you,
may
yeah. Sorry, keep going.
it may be my one and only opportunity to compete in classic.
Yeah.
Um, Whether the judges like my shape or not will be some great feedback. They might say, your shape is not classic, which, hey, if that's what it is, it'd be great to hear the judges' feedback. But that'll obviously mean that I will likely have to transition to bodybuilding after this season.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like looking back at like some of your recent posts of like your physique and your transformation stuff like that, like your quads are big, like your shoulders, your frame, like it's like I feel like if you were st and that's why I was wondering your height and your weight cap because I was like I feel like if you went way under that, it's kind of
Mm,
like, yeah, you're gonna kind of have to put yourself in a box, and then it's like how
yeah,
much you've grown within 3 years. It's
yeah,
like, that's still early days, really. So it's like
mm,
you would then kind of be stopping yourself from how big you could actually kind of grow. And then like,
yeah.
if you want to be super competitive, it's just like, why do that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's interesting. I was having the conversation with Liam after I got my DEXA scan. I was like, this is not an issue a true novice should be having, where I'm
Yeah,
struggling
literally.
to struggle having to worry about my weight cap. But yeah, it's funny where obviously everyone's their own biggest critic. And a lot of my friends who aren't in bodybuilding and don't understand bodybuilding and don't understand that it's not just looking good on Instagram,
Yeah,
would say, "Oh, you're gonna crush it," and I'll be like, "No, no, like you don't understand.
yeah,
Like, there's some big boys in
yeah,
classic. Like, I'll get on stage and I'll probably look small." And then when I found out, oh shit, I'm actually gonna be struggling to get into my weight cap. Yes, like obviously the higher the bigger height classes are gonna, are big boys, but certainly obviously I'm not quite as small as I always, and I never thought that I was small. Like, I obviously, I know that I got good size in certain areas, but when I compared myself to people that compete, I was always like, oh, they look so much bigger than me and better than me, being my own biggest critic. But
yeah,
when I got that, when I realized that I'm not far off my weight cap, I thought, oh, okay, maybe I am holding a bit more muscle than I thought, and maybe I don't have to, not that I was worried, but maybe I don't have to, think that I'm going to get on stage and look, a lot smaller than the
yeah.
rest of the athletes.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah,
sometimes that's like a fear when you're doing your show for the first time. You're kind of worried because of all the other like seasons people competing that you're kind of gonna go, am I going to end up being the smallest person there? And then
yeah,
you're not realizing actually kind of like that's not necessarily the case.
yeah. It's interesting. Yeah,
What
but
have you kind of discussed even doing maybe like true novice in bodybuilding, so trying to make that classic weight, but then just seeing what judges are.
yeah. I have thought about doing both
Yeah.
potentially. And I did say to Liam, what do you think about bodybuilding? And he just said, well, let's
Yeah.
run it a little bit closer, and then when we get a little bit closer, we'll make that assessment and work out whether I do both or whether I just do classic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Is it
it's
is it I just find it really interesting because like my friend, another friend of mine, he's very similar like that, like he because like wait, first off, is there a reason that you want to do classic, like you like the classic look, or you just think that you're not big enough for open? Is there a particular reason?
I think it's just a energetic alignment. I know
Yeah,
it's a weird thing to say, but I just like the feel of classic. I
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I like the aesthetic look of
Mhm.
classic. So and obviously it goes without saying, just because I like classic better,
Yeah,
or not necessarily better, but just because I vibe with classic better doesn't mean I am classic.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think that I'm probably in between.
yeah,
Um, but I just like the vibe of
yeah.
classic. I liked, obviously, a lot of my favorite athletes are from the classic division.
Mm.
A lot of the guys that inspire me from classic. So I think that's just why it just
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
just energetic alignment.
No, that's fair. I feel like you should, especially with your first prep, like I think, especially if you don't have that judge's feedback, and I think
Mm,
100%, I think I would agree with that, that you're definitely like in that position where you're kind of like, you could be either or. It's really dependent on what the judge's feedback is. Because what I was gonna say
yeah,
was like a friend of mine too. He same thing. Like he loves classic, and he can do classic, but it's like this season that he just competed in season C, and what was funny was seeing this was the first time where he actually didn't do well in classic and did better in bodybuilding. Where I
right,
think the season before, I think he was kind of even, like he did do well in classic, but it's kind of
yeah,
getting to that point where it's like his body just wants to keep growing and growing. And I
yes,
think
yeah,
what I think it is from my perspective is that the density that he has to his muscle, it's like too much bodybuilding. Like it's too
yeah,
bodybuilding. And I think that's what, because even he was surprised that he got rewarded so well in bodybuilding compared to classic.
yeah,
And I think it's that. And I think sometimes you kind of, even though he has that really small waist and he was peeled, you just kind of can't tell until you hear that judge's feedback and kind of see
yeah.
what it is when you compare it to other people. So you might as well do what you like for your first prep.
Yeah, jump in the ring, and then whatever happens, happens. Get the
Yeah.
feedback, and then make a bit more of a strategic run at the next event. Yeah, but yeah, whatever happens, happens. Like the way that I have sort of framed this is that, like, obviously, you've seen my transformation. You know, the person I was 3 years ago would have absolutely not even fathomed the fact that I'm potentially going to jump on stage. So for me, in terms of what bodybuilding has done for me and where my life is, I've won
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm going to get to jump on stage, if all goes well, touch wood, with a bunch of like, especially the Adelaide lineup is stacked with guys that I really respect. So getting to just be on stage, even if I don't place at all, with a bunch of guys that I really respect, coming from what I have come from, being so overweight to this, is like I'm so content already. And it's just icing on the cake getting to jump on stage with a bunch of people that I really respect and that inspire me. And regardless of any results,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy, I'm
That's the real
content.
win.
Exactly, exactly,
That's the win that like no medal can be. It's like the medal's gonna be
exactly.
nice, but it's like you said, even because something that you said that I really liked too, actually, which was what was it? You said it way like at the beginning, and I really agreed with that, which is kind of like you kind of owe it to yourself almost to like get on stage because
Yeah,
that's kind of like they're the thoughts that I've been having lately, which is like it's that thought process of kind of like I like love this sport. I live this sport. And it's kind of like that's what the stage is there for. Like it's like
yeah,
why even if you're not going to place, like it shouldn't be about winning. It shouldn't be about the medal. It's like you're dedicating because it is a sport that takes up 24/7. Like you're
hmm,
doing spending all that time. So why not like do something that then shows off that hard work that you're putting
yeah,
in and
yeah,
just like make the stage be that instead of going, no, I gotta. Because I think that's what happens, especially with social media now. You kind of get stuck in your head of like, "Oh, I gotta win. If I win, it's gonna help me, or
yeah,
or if you're competitive by nature, you just want to win. But it's
yeah,
like kind of shifting that where it's like that's just, I guess, a bit materialistic, if that's the right word there, where it's like, what's the bigger picture? I deserve
yeah,
to look at how much transformation I've done. Let me get on this stage to showcase the hard work that I put on and actually experience what this sport is about.
yeah, yeah. And I will go even, I would add on to that and go, for me, it's like jumping on stage to present the hard work is kind of like me allowing myself to have a bit of fun, me
Yeah,
allowing myself to have a bit of enjoyment instead of work, 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 grind, grind,
yeah,
grind, rep, 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 food, food, food. It's like,
yeah,
let's take a breath, let's jump on stage, let's have a bit of fun, and then let's go back to work, you know? So, yeah, absolutely. It would, like I said, it would be a disservice to myself and my journey to not jump on stage. So yeah, it's kind of like I've put all this work in. Why wouldn't I? You know, like
yeah, yeah,
have a little bit of fun with it and enjoy it. Like I have no like I'm my own biggest critic. I have no doubts that there are going to be people on stage that look far, far better than me. And so I'm not even having any thoughts of what results may be. Like I said, I'm just so excited to jump on stage with a bunch of people that inspire me and then look back, like especially the stage photos, be able to compare the stage photos. I
Yeah.
might finally release the before that no
Yeah,
one's
yeah,
seen.
yeah.
And the other thing is like I tell my clients, is like I always encourage my clients to share their journeys because you never know when someone's going to see your journey and go, you know what, if he did it, I can do it too.
Mm,
And even if, like, I say to my clients, like, even if you can inspire one person to go, you know what, I'm going to get a coach and I'm going to try to do that too, you might have saved a life, or you might have just added 20, 30 years onto someone's life, or you might have just allowed a child to have a father around for another 20, 30 years, or a
yeah.
mother around for another 20 or 30
Yeah,
years. Like,
yeah.
you don't understand how impactful your own journey can be. And that's why, I enjoy making, I don't enjoy making content so much in prep because the energy's a bit low, but generally I really enjoy making content because
Yeah.
I get so much inspiration from other people
Yeah.
and I want to try and transfer that down the line.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love what you said. I think like um conversation I was having yesterday, and it's even funny that you just said it the way that you said it. And it was like we're talking about he's like he's made an app for like for fitness and like coaches and then just everyday people. And I was like kind of asking kind of because I had like an idea of like what the app where why how it kind of started, but I was trying to get out of him like what is the like what was the moment where you're like this is why this app I want to have this app. And he was explaining like when he started coaching and alongside like his mentor, and they were coaching out of like doing little boot camps and stuff like that. They had a client who was like I think he said like 140 kilos or 150 kilos, and the client had come to him and said, "Look, my doctors have said like I got to lose weight. Like it's
Mhm.
like actually affecting like how many years that I could have lived." He had like a family and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and he was like, and then like they worked together, and then he ended up dropping like I think 40 kilos or something, and you know, way healthier, gained like the doctor said, like everything's good, like that health scare, you've basically gained life back, years back on
Hmm.
your life. And he
Yeah.
said like that moment was so, you know, transformative because he's like, I like literally like, yeah, like you said, like inspired someone or helped someone and gave them more life. And now they
Yeah.
can be a father for longer. And that's the thing where I guess, and he was saying like in this day and age with social media and everything like that, and kind of the way coaching has shifted a little bit, like that type of stuff is forgotten about almost
Yeah.
sometimes because
Yeah.
that's not kind of what's pushed forward of how you are kind of really like changing people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that, like you said, you want to you want to be like that for yourself. You want to help transfer people's, and like you communicate that through you with your clients and stuff like that. So I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I hear not a lot, but I hear some people say like bodybuilding is not that deep.
Mm,
But I think that if you try, you can find something that's deep, or you can find depth or emotion or something of significance in anything if you
anything.
look hard enough.
Yeah.
So whilst there are some people that might think bodybuilding's not that deep, if you look hard enough, bodybuilding is that deep because I know so many people that would agree that bodybuilding saved their life
Yep.
or meant that they've got an extra 20, 30 years on their life. Yeah, okay, some people probably lost 20, 30 years because of
Yeah.
bodybuilding.
Give
Let's
and
play
take, give
devil.
and take. There's got to be
Yeah,
an
yeah,
equilibrium.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's play
Yeah.
devil's advocate here. But when we're talking about the positive side of it, bodybuilding, lifting weights,
Mhm.
following nutrition plan in general, yeah, it's that deep because it can and does save lives and people's journeys, sharing those journeys. That social media can be a rough place at times, but the good part of social media is sharing those journeys and then
Yeah.
inspiring others to do the same and saving, you might have saved a life, or like I said, a mother or father might be around for another 10, 20 years to see their grandchildren
Mm.
or whatever it may be. So yeah, for me, bodybuilding is that deep.
Yeah. 100% agree. 100% agree. What is like something, being your first prep and you've kind of explained like you experiencing things for the first time, like the dopamine crash and that. But what is something that I guess like so far that, prep has taught you that, you know, I guess you hadn't maybe experienced? Like, would you say it had been experiencing these different, I guess, mental experiences and how to navigate them? Has there been like a standout moment that you've gone like, this is kind of what I'm taking away from this prep, or you maybe haven't had that yet?
No, I have. It's all around being a parent. Again, I'm very hypercritical. Um, I I know that I'm a good dad. I have 50-50 custody arrangement with my daughter. I'm a very hands-on dad. I'm a very nurturing dad. I try to play because obviously when she's with me, I try to play the mother and the father role all in one so that she's getting the nurture and the protector at the same time. So I admit that I am very hypercritical of myself, but because I'm not showing up in the way, and I'm a perfectionist, and because I'm not showing up in the way that is perfect for my daughter at times, whether it's I'm a little bit snappy or I'm a little bit impatient or my energy's a bit low and she wants to go to the playground and I'm like, honey, like coach has only given me 7,000 steps today and I'm already at 6.5. Do you mind if we go tomorrow? It gives me a lot of guilt. So
Mm,
there's two aspects there. One, I need to get better at showing up for my daughter whilst in prep. So that's something that I'm doing at the moment. I'm listening to parenting podcasts. I'm doing more breath work. I'm doing more meditation. I don't know if you've heard the book, The Daily Stoic. The same
yeah,
author has a book called The Daily Dad, and it's just like one page every
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah,
So I've gone back to reading that. So I'm trying to do as much inner work as I can so that I can learn how to manage prep and being a single parent at the same time. So the one thing that prep has not taught me, but shown me with mirrored to me is that I need to learn how to manage, those stressful times better, and my ability to handle stress needs to be better so that I can show up, always be showing up how my daughter deserves.
yeah,
I'm certainly not, being a bad father, but I'm not showing up in the way that my little 5-year-old girl deserves. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's probably the biggest thing. And it's like I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine, and it's like there's two options. I go, you know what? I'm stopping prep because I'm being a little bit impatient with my daughter because like she's 5, she's curious about the world.
yeah, yeah,
And one thing I've noticed in prep, especially this stage of prep with dopamine being low, is that verbal communication is an energetic challenge for me. I don't want to talk. I
mhm,
don't. I just like to be in peace and quiet. And she's
yeah,
asking 100,000 questions a minute, which she's 5. She's curious about the
yeah,
world, but it's like the most random things you could think of, and it's like in my brain, it's like twisting my mind up. But I know,
yeah,
like, so yeah, that's the one thing is like, yeah, just yeah, learning to, but they all like I know that a lot of people say that every prep gets easier and easier,
mm,
but
mm,
reverting back to what I was about to mention, is that I was having this conversation with my friend and I was like, there's two options. I can say I'm backing out of prep because
mm,
I'm not showing up and I'm being a bit snappy with her, and then she sees her dad quit something that was
yeah,
hard. Or I go, you know what? No, I'm going to figure out how to be a better dad
yeah,
and be in prep at the same time and learn and use this as an opportunity to get better and to grow and show her more growth,
yeah.
not backing away from a fight, not backing away from a challenge. And then how much easier is parenting going to be for me when I finish prep and food comes
Yep.
back in? So
Yeah, that's probably like the best thing. It's like
mm,
you can become the best dad possible while you're prepping. It's like
yeah,
imagine the transformation and what you're gonna take from that when you're not prepping. It's like you're
exactly.
already here as well, not during prep. Then you're gonna be like up here.
Exactly. So like, yeah, it's hard. And like the poor thing is have to make some sacrifices that she doesn't want to have to make. Like
Yeah.
me wanting to, and like she loves a movie night, so I'm probably being way too hard on myself because instead of like going to the park, I'm like, let's have a movie day on the couch and watch a movie, or let's go to the movies. Like I'm picking lower energy things to do.
Mm.
Like she's certainly not missing out. Like she's like I'll still take her to Sushi Train, and because she loves Sushi Train. I don't really let her eat, like I don't let her eat Macca's or KFC or any of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So her treat is like Sushi Train or whatever. And I'll still take her to do those things. Still take her to the markets in the hills, and she'll have a donut and things like, but I'm just obviously not sharing those experiences with her. But there are times where I'm like a little bit snappy and things like that, where I'm not as patient as I should be. But at the end of the day, if I back out of prep, then I haven't used the opportunity to become better and to grow and to become
mm.
a better parent. I've almost avoided the
Yeah,
opportunity for growth, which I see as is a suboptimal path to take.
100%. And like, I could only imagine, like, I would never, I think, like, you know, just not even having a child and like just like thinking about yourself, like, you don't just like if your own morals and values, like, you don't want to be a quitter.
Mm,
Like, you want to, like, get things done. And then to like having a child, and like, that's the thing, like, you don't, the option is going, if I walk away, I'm showing that I was a quitter. It's like, then what is
yeah,
that kind of like standard? Am I kind of setting that thing? Because president with her, where it's like, I
yeah,
would rather kind of, like you said, navigate and then show her, even with hard things, you can still be a good person. You can still get the job done. You like,
yeah,
there's such a bigger reward and like lessons that you're learning and that you can teach her through following through with the prep. How
100%.
much, because she's 5, like, how much does she understand, does like do you show, like, do you do like posing practice at home, like how involved or like aware is she of like exactly kind of what you're doing?
Very. But it's like, I'm huge on communication. So
Yeah.
I communicate with her on everything that I do,
Mhm.
even when it comes down to nutrition. Like, for example, this is a little bit off track, but I'll circle back.
Yeah.
The other day, I made her a crumpet with almond butter on it for breakfast. I put it down on the table. She looked at it, looked up at me and said, Dad, where's my fiber? And I said, Oh, sorry, honey. I forgot your bowl of strawberries that I had cut up. So she I explain all of
That's
the
so cool.
aspects
That's
of
so cool.
bodybuilding nutrition to her, especially nutrition, because
Mm.
I always explain to her why I don't take her to KFC or McDonald's,
Yeah, yeah.
why we go for something like Sushi Train, why fiber is important in every meal. um but she watches me do posing. She knows that I do check-ins now
Mm.
twice a week with Liam.
Yeah.
um she will even ask me, "Hey, Daddy, can you ask your coach for less steps on the weekend so that we can have like a movie day and just relax?" So yeah, she is very aware of it all.
Mm.
So it'll be interesting to see when she gets older whether
Yeah, yeah.
she follows suit with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I involve her because I don't want her just guessing, why is Daddy low on
Yeah.
energy? Why is Daddy just want to do this?
Mm.
Why? I don't want to sort of not knowing. I'd rather her be understanding why I'm doing this all. And I sit down and I explain to her, I say, I know Daddy doesn't have much energy, but this is why I'm doing this, because I think it's important to choose to challenge yourself.
Mm.
And I think it's important to choose hard things in life rather than life choosing the hard things for you. So
Most
I
definitely.
really do explain all of that to her, how much sinks in. Um,
You'd be
she's a,
surprised. I think, like,
yeah,
subconsciously, like, that's the whole thing. Like, children are 10 times smarter. Like, the
yeah,
brain is crazy.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
when I did childcare for a bit, and through like the obviously like the degree and studying and that, and you do like the whole certain part to do with babies, and like it was crazy. Like, they were talking about like how, like, what information like babies process and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and just how often like new research is found, and it's like almost like their brain, like, literally from the moment they're born, they're like literally taking in and observing everything from the
Yeah,
moment like they're born,
like a
and it's like,
sponge.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
literally. And it's like, so it's like, even though you don't remember things, and it's like, that's the whole, and because they do the stuff to do with like explaining like why you do certain stuff with the babies in the baby room and how you interact with them and play with them and that, and then kind of navigating. sleep time and stuff like that, because it's like that's how they pick everything up. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just crazy. Like, even though it may feel like she may not understand certain stuff like that, it's all
Mm.
gonna sink in. So then when
Yeah.
she's older, all of a sudden she has an opinion or has a thinks a certain way. It's because of how you like showcase and explain to her
Yeah.
now. But I think what's really special and what I like what you're saying, and I think it's the best way to go about it by explaining everything to her is, well, one, I think the nutrition side is amazing because it's like
Mhm.
that's like a pro of bodybuilding that people don't think about. Is like, especially when you have kids, like you're taking that health and that nutrition, you're teaching them young
Yeah.
that like sometimes parents like like I used to work at a grocery store as my first job, and like after getting into bodybuilding and stuff like that, it's just crazy like the shit that you see some parents buy and buy their kids, and it's
Mm.
just like, and you wonder why like you feel like shit, they feel like shit, like they're
Yes.
unhealthy, whatever, because it's like you're just eating like it's like shit, like
Yeah.
plastic, like all the frozen, yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So it's really cool that like I love that she's going like, yo dad, where's my fiber, like
Yeah.
where's the strawberries.
Yeah. Oh man, when she said that to me the other day, it's like, "Where's my fiber?" I was like, "Oh my God, bless. I love you, honey. I'll
Yeah,
get your fiber. Hang on." But yeah, look, plain like obviously, like you're right. There's some of the things that parents feed their kids is wild, but like a lot of people just don't like, as you know, they're just not aware.
yeah,
And we could go down that rabbit hole of the food industry deliberately engineering their
yeah.
foods to make us overeat, to make us crave. It's just crazy, you know.
Mm,
The way food is, it's like obviously the food industry pays a lot of money to government to allow them to do certain things, but like the amount of disease, the amount of, deaths from food, from metabolic disease, cardiovascular disease, overeating, ultra processed foods, like cancers, all this stuff. And it's just been allowed
yeah.
because of this engineering of this food. But so people are just literally just falling into the
Mm,
design that has been created by these food manufacturers. So it's like about education. These people buy, I try to make my daughter 90% whole food
mm,
meals with the occasional treat, and always trying to keep fiber and things like that. But the main thing is just educating, because you've seen the transformation that I went on, and I lost 40 kilos. I went from 120 down to 78 before I started building back up. But before that, over a decade, I lost 30 kilos about 5 or 6 times. And I would always
wow.
go from about 120 down to about 90 or under 90. And then it'll be a very much a binge and restrict cycle. So the
Yeah,
underlying bad habits were still there, because on the weekend I'd be eating like crap again.
yeah,
But then I would starve myself all week and I'd still lose a kilo a week because I starved myself all week, then binging on the weekend, but still across the week I was in a deficit.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it would lose the weight, but the underlying habits and poor relationship with food and nutrition was still there. So I would get to a point where I was comfortable, and then I'd
Mm,
just rebound straight back up. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I spent 10 years losing 30 kilos, putting it back on, losing 30 kilos, putting it back on. So I never want my daughter to have to
Mm,
go through the challenges that I went through. Um, and so for me, it's like educate her now
yeah.
as soon as I can, as young as I can, so that
Mhm.
she doesn't have to learn the same mistakes I did. So
Yeah. And
that's
that's but
that's why
the
I've been on
that's like the best thing about being a parent. I think like
it.
that's like what's the best way to say it? I think like that's what it means to be a parent, which is
Yeah.
like you spent how many years, however you are when you have your first child, learning all these mistakes, whether
Hmm.
and then you're kind of correcting mistakes, hopefully that like your parents like
Yeah.
made, and then now so then you're just trying to continue to be a better version, so then that you can then do that for your child,
Yeah.
and then that
Yeah.
child can not go through the mistakes that your parents went through, and now the mistakes that you went through, and then they can set a better standard.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
it's good.
I think if I look back generations and generations, it's like all the men in my family were overweight. Their
Yeah,
dads were overweight. Their dads were overweight. And it probably went back until the time before all this ultra processed foods was
yeah,
introduced. But it was like, oh, this is genetically just how we are. And it's like, no, this is just a vicious cycle
yeah,
repeating over and over again. But the good it's an interesting time we live in, but one good thing about this time that we live in is there's so much information and resources out there. There's no excuse for not breaking generational cycles or generational curses anymore,
Yeah,
because our parents probably didn't have the information they needed to make that break, whereas we
yeah,
do now. So for me, there's no excuses. That's why the food thing and the health thing, and then the internal work, and the my dad was quite an aggressive man, and I sort of started going down that path, and now I'm like nice and calm. And so it's like we've got enough information out there now with the internet, social media, and podcasts and books. Like there's no excuse to not be breaking the generational cycles now,
yeah.
so that's the way I see it
Yeah,
anyway.
100%. And at least like you can sit here now and go, I did it.
Yeah,
I've done it. And then you know that that's going to continue on with your daughter.
yeah,
So it's got
yeah,
to be very self-fulfilling,
yeah, for
which is
sure, for
nice,
sure.
which is nice. Oh, the other thing I was going to say before I asked the next question, which I think outside the nutrition thing and that, what I think is really cool is, and I think, you know, which is also very interesting about. So that's the thing. A lot of bodybuilders don't actually get the opportunity, or they're bodybuilding before they have children,
Mhm.
and so obviously no different. But I think what's nice is sometimes, like especially when you have kids, you can kind of stop chasing your own dreams, or stop like filling your own cup in certain ways. And I think it's really nice that you have this relationship with your daughter, that you're able to kind of fill your own cup, or chase your own dreams, but then share that with her, and
Yeah, yeah,
have that experience of by instead of kind of either quitting, or you know going, oh no, bodybuilding's bigger than me and my daughter, and this is what matters. It's like you're educating her, and then at the same time you're having all these moments that like you may not experience if you were to view like it a different way.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
like something I remember a podcast I'd done with someone else, Lachlan, and same thing with him. He hadn't competed without kids, and
Mhm.
like his biggest thing has always been like family first, his wife and his kids first, like no matter what.
Yeah,
Um, but it's never stopped him from competing, and it's but then it's helped him always enjoy bodybuilding more, because outside of having like a good network of friends or other competitors or whatever, you know, he's been able to enjoy those moments with his children and with his partner, because he's kind of brought them into it and
yeah,
experienced that with them, which I think is really nice.
yeah. My I don't know how I don't know if I'm going to articulate this in the way that it's sitting in my head, because it's a little bit jumbled in my head. But my thought process when I was with my daughter's mum was that it was always the mum first, and then the kids, and then me last.
Mm,
And now when I look back, I realize that that was part of my downfall. It's because I had lost myself trying to service and please everybody else. So now my view on relationships and parenting is different. And I was listening to a Chris Williamson podcast. I can't remember who it's with, but it was with one of the top psychologists and philosophers. And he was saying it's actually yourself first, because not only are you not supposed to fill someone else's cup from your cup, you're actually supposed to fill someone else's cup from the spillover of your
yeah,
cup.
yeah,
So your cup fills, and whatever spills over is what you give to others. So for me, I used to be a people pleaser. I used to have an anxious attachment. I used to put everybody else first because it kept me feeling safe. I felt like if I kept everyone else happy around me, I was then safe from
yeah, yeah,
abandonment, from a
yeah,
rejection. Everyone would be happy, which means that I would feel safe. So that's actually a selfish cycle,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not, I'm trying to keep everyone else happy, but it's really to try and keep myself feeling safe.
yeah,
That was I look back, and that was part of my downfall. So now I'm really big on doing what makes me happy first, as long as it's not to the detriment of anyone else, especially my daughter,
mm,
but to make sure that my cup is as full as it can possibly be, so that it's spilling over, so that I can give that to my daughter, rather than trying to fill her cup. and educate her from a exhausted, miserable, overweight, unhealthy father. I'm healthy, happy,
Mm.
you know, um, chasing goals, living life the way that I want to as best I can. Yes, I would much rather have my family together and not have to have, a split home with her.
Yeah.
That's always going to be something that I'm going to hold a lot of guilt for probably forever. But the next best thing is to live life the best I can and fill my cup and then show her, that you can prioritize yourself and then still be able to give meaningfully to others. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's
No,
my perspective on it these
no,
days.
I love that. That's like spot on because it's like that's the thing. People forget that like when your cup is full, you're happy, you're at
Mhm.
peace. So if
Yeah,
you're happy, then people around you are going to see that you're happy. They're gonna, it's like the thing you're then lifting people up. Or if your cup's not full, you're more grumpy, you're more irritated, you're more angry,
yeah,
and then you just like what was it? I said the wrong word. You unwillingly then put that onto the people around you,
yeah. You
and then
project
that
it.
that
Yeah.
does it ends up being a really big downfall that you don't even realize it's happening because you're then trying to make it up by people pleasing, but
Mhm.
then you're just making yourself worse.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, no, it's
It's a
good.
vicious cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is a vicious cycle, but you broke it, so that's the main thing.
yeah.
That's the main thing, and that's
And
all
like
you can do.
we've discussed that prep is making single parenting a challenge for me, and I'm not being as patient as I normally am. But overall, bodybuilding uh, and choosing to do things that I enjoy, even though sometimes it might mean that my daughter's in after school care for an extra half an hour until I can get there after the gym or whatever it may be. Overall, it makes me such a better father, makes me such a healthier father.
Hmm.
I can show up for her in a much better and healthier way. I can be a better role model. So that was hard for me in the early stages of the bodybuilding journey, was like leaving her in daycare. Like I'd go to work. I work through my lunch break and my smoko break so that I can finish 45 minutes earlier to get to the gym 45 minutes earlier so that I can get to her at daycare
Yeah,
45 minutes earlier. But it was still or if I wasn't going to the gym for an hour, I would be able to pick her up an hour earlier. So I battled with that guilt. But
yeah.
as time's gone on, I've seen quite clearly that I show up best for her when I'm keeping my cup full,
Mm.
when I'm training, when I'm eating healthy, when I'm prioritizing the things that I need to do. If that means that, every now and then she has to stay in after school, she's at school now. So if she has to stay in after school care for an extra half an hour, which she loves anyway, because they do so much fun stuff there,
Yeah,
I don't punish myself with guilt because I
yeah,
know that she benefits in the long run for it.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Mhm. Exactly.
So now back to your prep and coming to stage. What are you? I know we kind of like dabbled or talked about it briefly, but like, what are you, most excited about when it comes to like stepping on that stage? You excited to, successfully finish the prep? Are you excited? Are you excited to stand next to some of the Adelaide boys? Like, what are you most excited to, I guess, take away from like show day?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. If you hadn't a specified show day, I would say the thing that I'm most looking forward to at the moment is getting the show done so I can go do another build phase because I'm so obsessed with progression.
Yeah, yeah,
But if we just talk about the show in particular, I'm trying not to think about it too much because I used to be the type of individual that gets very nervous before a sporting event. So I would be sitting on the bench about to come on for a footy game, like absolutely freaking out, like wanting to
yeah,
vomit because I was so nervous. As soon as I'm on the field, I'm fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
I used to do,
anticipation.
yeah, I used to do athletics. I used to do sprinting, and before a race, always like insanely nervous. So I'm trying not to think about show day too much because I'm calm now, but I dare say the week or two, or especially the day of the show, I'm going to be a
Yeah, yeah,
nervous wreck. But what I am definitely looking forward to is just standing on stage with a bunch of like-minded individuals who are all sharing the same passion, which is physique progression and development and bodybuilding. And especially like I know that in the on the for the Adelaide show for classic, there's probably about 5 or 6 guys that I really, really respect. And even a few that I used to really look up to when I came into the bodybuilding scene. So it's just the experience of being able to stand up and feel like I belong on a stage with those sorts of individuals that I'm looking forward to.
Mm.
But also, really, it's a very powerful emotion thinking that my daughter's going to be in the crowd watching me.
Yeah,
And for me, I'm very behind on posing. That's what I got to work on the
yeah,
most. But there's been a few times where I'm like nervous about posing in front of everyone, and then I just think I try to reframe it in my mind, like just imagine my daughter in the crowd, and I'm
yeah, yeah,
posing for her.
yeah, yeah.
And a couple of times it's literally brought tears to my eyes, not from sadness, but just from pure emotion, thinking
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I'm going to be on stage. My daughter's going to be
Mm.
watching. So probably a long-winded explanation, but it's two parts. One, getting to stand up there with a bunch of individuals that I respect and that inspire me, and allowing myself to feel like I do belong there.
Yeah, yeah.
But also getting to show my daughter why I do everything I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
leading up to that moment.
It'll be like that clicking moment for her. She'll go,
Yeah.
ah, everything that
Yeah.
we've been doing and everything that he's been
Yeah.
doing. There we go. Now I'm
It
seeing
makes
him win.
sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. This is what all the I wouldn't call them sacrifices because I eat a little bit less food, have to deal with a little bit less energy.
Mm.
I wouldn't call it sacrifices, but um, I don't know what other word there is for it. But I guess the sort of sacrifices along this journey, showing her that this is why we do it.
No, that's very nice. I like that. It's gonna be, I think like I think the thing that sucks the most is like about the stage is everyone says like, you know, it just goes too quickly. Like that like
Mm,
that's like the funny thing, but it sounds like, you've kind of I think you're the right headspace where regardless of how short you're on stage for, but because your headspace is like, you have your daughter in the crowd, and then gonna have that moment of feeling like, yes, if things go well, and depending on where you are on the call out, or if medal ends up being given to you, you'll also then have that feeling of like, yes, these people that I've looked up towards or have inspired
mm,
me, I am one of them. I do belong. So
yeah,
it's nice to kind of hear you have that, I guess, that good mindset compared to maybe wanting to just kind of go in and obviously present your best physique, but hoping to get a win, and then that time on stage does go way too quickly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I think for me, like I have always been very competitive. But I think that the part of me that is also hypercritical keeps telling me like you got no chance of even
Yeah,
placing. So let's forget about even placing because it's not going to happen. And let's just find where we can tuck our gratitude into for that day, which is being there, my daughter watching me, being up there with a bunch of people that we just spoke about. That's what I'm anchoring my gratitude and excitement to, rather than the placing, because that hypercritical part of me goes like, you got no chance of placing, dude. So I'm like, let's just forget about that.
I think it's good though. I think like I think that mindset, obviously, it's hard. It's like a double-edged sword. Like
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. It's like, should you be too cocky that then
Mm,
like you think you're gonna win, or and then you're really disappointed when you don't, or then or you were so delusional that you're gonna win that then you kind of end up winning, or yeah, do you kind of go, oh, I'm not gonna win. I'm just happy to be here, and then when you do win, it's like 10 times better than what it could have been.
yeah.
Or yeah,
It's a hard one, and I think because bodybuilding is such a subjective sport, it's not like I can be so delusional about winning and then
yeah,
work my ass off to
yeah,
win. Because if I don't have the bone structure, if I don't have the
yeah,
insertions, if I don't have the shape, it doesn't matter
nah,
how delusional I am. I've
yeah,
seen bodybuilders be insanely arrogant and delusional and get up on stage and not even place when they've been given everyone crap about, if you don't get first call outs, you're nothing, rah rah,
yeah,
talking all
yeah,
this talk. They get up on stage, they don't place, and then they have to go through the suffering of embarrassment or whatever. So
yeah,
I think that if you're a bodybuilder that that has true potential to go for their pro card and to really make a career out of this, yes. The
Mm,
arrogance, the delusion, it should be there for sure. You should 100% back yourself. I've got this. I know I can be the best. But I'm coming into this sport. I came into this sport at 33.
mm,
I'm 35 now. I'm being realistic. I know I don't have the perfect shape for classic. I know I don't have the time left to build enough mass for bodybuilding. So I'm just being realistic that I'm never going to be the best
mm.
at my division that I choose to be in for
Yeah, yeah.
bodybuilding. So I did a lot of work over the last 3 years, especially with ego. And the old Alex and the ego probably would have been like, I have to win,
Mm.
and would have been scared to compete, thinking if I don't win, I'm going to be embarrassed. And then what do I do? Like, you know what I mean? I would have been having those thoughts, but the ego has well and truly been not completely dealt with because there's always going to be it's always a
Always
work
there.
work
It's
in
always there.
progress. But I'm aware of it now enough to
Yeah.
know when I am showing up from a place of ego or I'm showing up from a place of you know, a healthier place. And so
Mm.
yeah, if I still had the ego that I used to, I would probably be a bit more arrogant and be like, yeah, I'm gonna win. Like I got the, you know, I got a good physique, I got the delts, I got the quads. Um, but now that the ego is a bit more quiet, I'm like, all right, let's look at this from a judge's standpoint.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's subjective, and
Mm,
there's always someone bigger, more leaner. Like, and this is my first show.
mm.
I don't know how lean I'm going to be for this. I'm going to get as conditioned as I possibly can. I'm not going to leave no stone unturned. But it's my first show, so
Yeah. And
whatever
that's like
happens, happens.
and the funniest thing about bodybuilding is like and it's the truth, like not does your prep get better each show, but like if you obviously again it's subjective to obviously your genetics, but like
Yes.
you theoretically, if you are genetically made for the sport, you know, you are just going to get better and better each prep. You get leaner and leaner. So that's
Yeah.
right. And I think, like, you know, at the end of the day, removing your ego and kind of working out, well, look, I may be a bit late, but I'm also not too late because, like, you know, 30s is like, you know, depending on how healthy you are and stuff like that,
Yeah.
30s to even early 40s, that's kind of like meant to be your prime time. So,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
going to build that dense muscle. So, you know, I think it's going to one help you enjoy it and actually do it for longer, but then
Hmm.
you're not putting too much of a pedestal of, you know, having the expectations too high where it's like, yeah, you know, being 20 something going, you know, I've got, you know, another 20 years, 30 years in the sport left. I got to
Yeah.
win. I got to get my pro card. I got to start winning pro shows. It's how can I just be a better version of myself and how can I show that to my daughter and then just have fun doing something that's filling my cup. And
Yeah.
I think that's the
100%.
best way to approach bodybuilding, really. Because
Spot
then
on.
if you're lucky, and you got the
Yeah.
genetics, then it's just going to happen regardless.
Yeah, hey, look, if I for somehow get proven wrong and I do better than I think I'm going to do, I'll be over the moon, you
Yeah.
know. Even if I got a medal of any sort, I think I would probably cry on stage just because of
Yeah.
what I've come from
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and how much it would mean to me. But like my mindset is that let's not even think
Mm.
that that's a possibility, and let's just make sure that we are working out what aligns with bodybuilding and competing and having gratitude for that, and then not even thinking about the placing because yeah, I just don't think it's a thing. I mean, yeah, if I got proven wrong and I did better than I thought, I would be absolutely over the moon, and maybe the ego would perk up and go, hang on a minute, maybe we should get a little bit more confident with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll deal with that at the time. But
Yeah.
at
When it
this
happens.
stage, I just don't see it being the path. I just
Yeah.
see it being, you know, I'll jump on stage, showcase all the work that I've put in over the last 3 years. Then I'll use that journey to hopefully inspire other people to do the
Mm.
same thing. And I'll keep building the physique and I'll keep going until I mean, I would love to have more kids. I would really love to have more
Mm.
kids. So if one day the universe aligns me with somebody and that's a potential, then maybe I will go, you know what? Like I'll always do bodybuilding because
Yeah.
I never want to revert back to the
Yeah.
old version of myself, which I couldn't. I don't even recognize that human
Yeah.
anymore. But I always do bodybuilding, but it's like I don't how long have I got competing? I don't know. Maybe up until I'm 40, which
Mm.
gives me plenty of time. Like sort of going around, not going around circles here, but off on a tangent. The first growth phase that I did with Liam, I think we worked out that I added about 15 kilo of lean tissue in about a
Yeah,
26 week period, which is psycho.
yeah, it
Um,
was like looking at the pictures, like I was like really impressed. I was like
yeah,
that's crazy. Like
yeah. In a 12 month, so obviously we did a 26-week build and then
yeah,
we cut. But I think it was this 26-week build and a 26-week cut with a bit of health phases in there. But um I started at 78 kilos and then we built and then we stripped it back and I was way leaner than I was at 78, but I was now 94.
yeah, that's
So
insane.
yes, and that's within a 12-month build and cut. So I added a lot, and then the next build we did, I think I added about 4 or 5.
Mm,
But I was going through a lot of stressful situations and wasn't able to prioritize bodybuilding the way I wanted to last year. I was still ticking the boxes, but there was a lot of emotional and psychological
mm,
stress going on at that time. And then we did a bit of a pre-prep surplus and worked out that I added another 4.
mm.
So all up, I'm over 20 kilos up in about a 2 year time period. So
Yeah,
it's like,
that's cool. That's cool.
yeah, it's
And
like,
like the best part of that is like from everyone that I've ever spoke to, and it's like why you should, step on stage, not like regardless of like the stage point of like having fun, showing your physique,
mm,
winning and whatever, but from like a your physique standpoint, getting that lean and then growing from that, you end up getting even bigger than like
yeah,
sometimes before because obviously you're then holding a better composition
yes,
because the compared to like doing lots of like bulks and cuts and obviously
yeah,
never getting stage lean. So
yeah.
who knows what that massive maybe 5, 10 kilo 20, 15 kilo jump could happen again. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's almost like a slingshot. You
Yeah,
you do the right thing, and you get properly lean first, and you
yeah,
almost like slingshot
yeah,
yourself with your obviously
yeah,
nutrient partitioning, being in such a good position, and being hypersensitive to to food, and your body just loves it all. And yeah, obviously, it's a much more optimal environment for growing when you do get lean first.
yeah.
So yeah, obviously I've just been, and I put it all down to obviously Liam. When I first jumped on board with Liam, he was like quite new to coaching, but like he conducts himself as an athlete, he conducts himself as a coach where he will always try and get better and learn
Mm.
more. So I've been so blessed to watch Liam improve as a coach, and he is a really, really intelligent individual and one of the most underrated coaches, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
just feel so blessed to have had him guide me. And um, you know, a lot of the like he's pretty extreme in the way. Like I think he was saying the other day on his YouTube that he hasn't had an off-plan meal that wasn't like 100% tracked in like a year or two,
yeah, yeah,
which sounds extreme, but I applied the same thing in the last six months and saw huge benefits
yeah, yeah,
to actually, if I go out for sushi, taking my scales with me, weighing everything, it might seem extreme, but this prep has been so much easier because I started from a good body
yeah,
composition. I haven't had to push food down too low because, you know, you treat the off season like you treat a prep and you stay adherent, you stay on plan. I don't go out for two massive untracked burgers a week like a lot of people do in
mm,
an off season. If I have an off plan meal, it's generally I haven't had one for God, I don't know how long, but I generally try and track everything, which is how I've sort of learned from Liam, and it's yeah, it's made things a lot smoother for me. So
yeah, yeah.
I think all those things,
Sorry, keep going.
yeah, all those things combined and just Liam's guidance is why I've been able to progress at the rate that
Mm,
I have. Is just getting very lucky aligning with a coach that yeah, is incredibly good at what he does.
yeah, that's the most important thing within bodybuilding, especially if like you don't. Like it's hard. I think I'm torn. I don't know where I feel on the scale of. I think you can go. really fire yourself. But I think at the end of the day, because it is such a subjective sport, it's always nice to have a second pair of eyes,
Yeah,
regardless of how well educated and versed you
yeah,
are. But
yeah,
um, it just reminds me of like what you're saying of like doing those really meticulous things like that. And it's funny how many people pretend like they are and they're not.
yeah.
And then you can kind of end up seeing it with little things like this and how much you've put on, or even like look at how well Liam's done consistently with competing and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And it reminds me of I remember listening to I think it was it Logan Franklin? I think Logan. Um and he was talking on a podcast and he was saying how like because like the how conditioned he gets and like his skin and like how grainy and that,
Yeah,
and he was saying like he really thinks it's come down to the fact that he doesn't even season his food anymore.
yeah, right,
And
yeah,
it's like because it's like you're literally taking in no extra anything, and
yeah,
it's literally just like the most wholest plain food.
yeah. And I
And
love
like
that.
yeah, and you
I
wouldn't
that's
even
so
know what.
inspiring to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally. And like
yeah,
that's the thing. It's like where you have no idea how many little extra things are just in something as simple as seasoning or anything like that. Like even just having like more water or less water, like by the milligram of sodium, potassium, does such a massive difference. So it's
yeah,
like imagine doing that to that degree year after year after year after year.
yeah.
Yeah, your body's just gonna be crazy.
And in those moments, it might only be a 1% thing, but as we know, over years, it compounds. Over
Yeah,
10 years, it's a massive,
yeah,
massive
yeah,
difference. And like even yesterday, I've deliberately dropped the volume of all of my meals so that when food eventually does drop closer to the show, I can keep volume the same. So I've added in things like dates and honey to
yeah,
my cream of rice so that when food drops, I can keep the same rice flour and just drop out the dates and the honey. But I do have days where I'm like, really wouldn't mind a little bit of extra volume. Let's drop the dates out. Let's
yeah,
jack up the rice flour a little bit. Obviously, still do the macros. But yesterday I was having one of those days. It was a rest day, which food was a bit lower. So I dropped out the dates, gave myself a little bit more rice flour, but I also dropped out my banana. So potassium obviously getting
yeah,
dropped out for a bit of extra volume in the rice flour. Woke up today with muscle spasms in my lat for at least 3 hours straight. And I'm like, the
yeah,
only thing I can put that down to is just yesterday. I think it was 160 grams less banana. Just that little, especially being this lean, being hypersensitive to everything, like just that little bit less
yeah,
potassium. I could be completely wrong, but it's the only change that I've made
yeah.
recently. And then all of a sudden, bang, wake up with muscle spasms. So I'm like, you don't realize that these small little changes can be having a deeper physiological effect, and then over time and over a longer period
Mm.
of time, it's just it
Body adapts.
compounds more and
Yeah,
more, more and
yeah.
more. I guess difference over the long run.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's what makes bodybuilding so fucking cool. Like
Yeah, so cool. I
literally,
love it.
literally.
Yeah,
Well, one more final question to kind of like wrap things up. Um, so I kind of like to let the last question kind of be a bit, I guess, like inspiring or like
yeah,
a little bit of advice for people listening. So what is, I guess, your ha, like I'm gonna say motto, like your day-to-day motto, like what is like the mindset that you're going into every single day, and does that make sense? Because I find sometimes
yeah.
like yeah, because that's I think your life motto can obviously change in different periods, but for someone listening that could maybe be something that they need to hear, and then if they start having that shift in thought process or whatever could make their days a bit better.
It's a tough question because there's I have more than one ethos or motto that I go on
Yeah.
depending on the day. But generally it's just it's like we were saying before, like you can either choose the hard things that you want to do in life, or you can let life dish out the hard shit to you.
Mm,
And if you choose to constantly challenge yourself and do hard things, then when you come across things in life that are hard that you didn't choose, it's going to be so much easier and you're going to be so much better equipped.
mm,
The other thing is, like, so many people are just on autopilot, just
yeah.
waking up, same habits every day. And you can break that. You can instead of being a victim to this life, you can take your power back by taking full responsibility and ownership for everything that's going on in your life. Instead of looking at, oh, this made me like that, or I'm like this because of this, go like, what am I doing to put myself in this position that I don't want to be in?
Mm,
And what can I do to put myself in the position that I want to be in? So for me, it's kind of a bit of that. It's like just waking up every day, taking responsibility for the things that I'm not happy with about me, taking full responsibility for what I'm not happy with.
mm,
Also, allowing myself to feel good about the things that I am happy for. But then on the challenging days, like one thing I remember my dad used to always tell me growing up is that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And it sounds so cliche, but it stuck with me more than anything that he said. And it's like who do you want to be? Like who do you want to be as a person? Do you want to be somebody that like lets life throw them around, or do you want to be somebody that no matter what comes their way, you have the confidence to know like I can overcome it, like because I choose to do hard shit all the time. This is just
yeah.
another challenge, and this is just another opportunity for growth. And the other thing is, and this is not the easy, this is such a complex way to answer your question, I'm sorry, but it's like I don't see like, and I talk about this with my clients, I don't see life as like, oh, we made this mistake or this happened and we took a loss here. I only see wins or lessons in
Mm,
life.
mm,
And if something goes well and goes the way I want it to, I win. If something doesn't and it challenges me, there's an opportunity for growth, there's an opportunity for learning. That's still a win because then I
mm,
get to be better. So I think if you wake up every day and go, I'm going to see life as wins or lessons or opportunities as growth. I'm going to think about who I want to be, and I'm going to be disciplined enough to work towards that every day. And I'm going to take responsibility for the stuff in my life that I'm not happy with. I don't think you can lose.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. It's like I feel quite a few things. What I think I like the most about everything that you kind of said, in some funny way, it all kind of interjects into one. It's
Exactly.
kind of like, I think it's so true. So many people live on autopilot, and it's
Yeah.
like wake up, decide I'm not going to live on autopilot anymore, and
Yeah.
chase your wins. And if you
Yeah.
chase your wins, that's right. No loss or lesson. It's just gonna help you win again. So it's like
Yes.
look for wins, chase them, and then take responsibility to not be on autopilot and chase those wins. And then
Spot on.
that's right. All you can do in life is win because
Yeah.
life is how you'd want to perceive it.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And it's like it almost reverts back to the Matrix. It's like get out of the Matrix, wake up, get out of the
Yeah,
Matrix and
literally.
start. Like, I don't want to get to the end of this life and look back and go, I let life throw me around. I want to get to the end of this life and go, like, I took the bull by the horns and
Yeah.
I did what I wanted to do with this life and I lived it to the max and I had a positive impact on the people around me and I made the decisions that I wanted to make, and I didn't just live as a victim of
Mm.
this because life can be challenging, like
Yeah.
it can be really hard.
Yeah.
So that I don't want to look back and like life's like it's short. Like I'm like 35. I'm like, really? I thought I was a teenager like yesterday. Now I'm
Yeah.
35. Like not long, and I'll be 55 and then 75. I want to
Yeah.
look back and know that I gave this life the best shot I could, and I had a positive, meaningful impact on the people around me. So
Mm.
that's what I wake up for every day.
No, I love that. I love that. It's kind of like also, how does it? I'm pretty sure it's a saying too. It's like live life, don't let, yeah, live life, don't let life live you. No, that's not right. But it's
I
like,
know what you're trying to
yeah,
say. I know it. I can't
yeah,
think of it, but I know
yeah,
exactly what you're
yeah,
trying to say. It's
yeah,
something along those lines. There's
yeah,
probably a Greek word that's like
yeah,
3 words that summarizes what I just said
yeah,
perfectly, but
literally.
I don't know what it is. So.
You're so funny about this, and actually, it's like being the funniest thing. And why I actually like asking the question instead of just saying like, "What is a piece of advice?" and kind of
Mm,
asking it the way that I have been. You know, it, what's been funny is that everyone nearly almost has either said at one point, "This sounds a bit cliche or a bit cheesy," or they've gone like said something that like can be taken. And I think that's what's
yeah.
really funny, that like we've attached this word of cliche or cheesiness, but
Yeah.
it's like they're the things that just make life better.
Exactly.
And it's just been so, I guess, like for me, really fulfilling kind of seeing that pattern occur every
Yeah.
time, which is really cool. And it's like I think a great reminder for me, and then hopefully like people listening get reminded that too. That it's
Yeah.
like those cliches, like they're cliches for a reason. It's not a
They
joke.
mean
It's
something.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can make your life better.
Spot on.
Well, thank you so much, man. I've had an absolute blast chatting with you. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, thank you so much again for jumping on. It's been a pleasure.
No, I appreciate you, man. Really appreciate the invite and the opportunity to I'm a big yapper, so any opportunity to yap, I'll take it. So
It's always
appreciate you,
always
man.
fun to yap.
That's it.
Well, enjoy the rest of your prep. Keep having fun. Keep enjoying it. You've got the right mindset, and I'm very excited to see you on that stage. And I'm sure everyone else who will be watching this will be excited to see you on stage. And I think you're going to do better than what you're expecting. So,
Fingers crossed. I
yeah,
appreciate that, man. And
all right.
yeah, got a job to do. We'll get it done and enjoy the journey.